Good afternoon and welcome to the July Ordinary Council meeting. I will now hand over to Councillor Greg James to perform a welcome to country.
Thank you, Mayor Sali and my fellow councillors. Firstly, I pay my respects to our ancestors and I acknowledge our elders both past, present and emerging. I'd like to acknowledge the Yorta Yorta Nations and all its people whose land we meet on today. So on behalf of the Elders Council, the 16 family groups and the 8 respected tribes who proudly share in the status of traditional owners of this land, I say a very warm welcome to this wonderful country and waterways. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor James. Item 2, acknowledgement. We, Greater Shepparton City Council, acknowledge the Yorta Yorta peoples of the land which now comprises Greater Shepparton. We pay respect to their tribal elders, we celebrate their continuing culture and we acknowledge the memory of their ancestors. Item 3, privacy notice. This public meeting is being streamed live via our Facebook page and made available for public access on our website along with the official minutes of this meeting. All care is taken to maintain your privacy. However, as a visitor in the public gallery, it is assumed that your consent is given in the event that your image is broadcast to the public. It is also assumed that your consent is given to the use and disclosure of any information that you share at the meeting, including personal or sensitive information, to any person who accesses those recordings or minutes. Item 4, governance principles. Council considers that the recommendations contained in this agenda gives effect to the overarching governance principles stated in section 9.2 of the Local Government Act 2020. These principles are as followed and councillors, they're numbered 1 to 9 on page 5 of the agenda. Item 5, apologies. Councillors, do we have any apologies this afternoon?
I'd like to move, Mayor Sali, that Councillor Sam Spinks and Councillor Fern Summer be noted as apologies for today's meeting.
Thank you, Councillor Dobson. All in favour? Someone second that? Second those things?
Motion.
Thank you. Adam, all in favour? Carried. Item 6, declarations of conflict of interest. Councillors, do we have any conflicts this afternoon? No? Very good. Item 7, confirmation of minutes of previous meeting. Are there any items of the minutes opposed? No. Could I have a councillor please move that recommendation?
Yes, thank you, Mayor Sali. I'll move the recommendation on page 6 that the minutes of the 20th of June 2023 council meeting and 4th of July 2023 additional council meeting as circulated be confirmed.
Thank you, Councillor Adam. Can I have a councillor second that motion? Councillor Watson. All in favour? Motion carried, unopposed. Item 8, public question time, nil received. Item 9, deputations and petitions, nil received. Councillors, we now go to page 7 of the agenda, item 10.1, social recovery quick response grants, flood recovery 2023. There is a recommendation. Can I please have someone put that forward as a motion? Councillor Brophy.
Thank you, Mayor Sali. I'd like to put forward the following recommendation: that Council note the successful applicants awarded funding under delegated authority for the Social Recovery Quick Response in brackets Flood Grant 2023 as follows. I won't list all the organisations, but they are listed there at $1,000 each.
Thank you, Councillor Brophy. Can I have a councillor second that motion, please? Councillor Latson. Councillor Brophy, would you like to speak to the motion?
Look, we're just noting it today on grants that have already gone out to these particular organisations. And this is a small amount, but it is one that is to activate the communities affected by the flood event that we had in October. Communities such as Murchison, Toolamba, Mooroopna, Bumbartha and Katandra West were included in these. These are localities, specific injection to assist in the recovery of those particular communities. As I said, it's only a small amount for each community, but it means so much for them in their recovery for the community. So I think it's money well spent.
Thank you, Councillor Brophy. Councillor Latson, would you like to speak to the motion?
No, thank you, Mayor Sali.
Thanks, Councillor Latson. Are there any councillors that would like to speak against the motion? Are there any councillors that would like to speak for the motion? Councillor Abdullah.
Yeah, I just want to note that although it is it's pleasing to see that our community groups applied for this grant, and we have allocated all in all $8,000, but this is against the total funding pool of $20,000. So, you know, I was a little bit surprised and also wondering why the response was not so great, because 20,000 out of 20,000 we are spending only 8,000. So you know, maybe there are different reasons. There could be different reasons. Of course, our community has been through these challenging floods, so maybe there's a little bit of fatigue. There's a little bit of not sort of connected to these announcements. That factor might be responsible for that relatively low response. That's what I wanted to highlight. Thank you.
Councillor Abdullah, are there any other councillors that would like to speak to the motion? No, any closing comments, Councillor Brophy?
No, just to back up what Councillor Abdullah said, that it would have been good to see even further money being spent on that. They were to support small-scale projects and really to support the community, of which obviously the ones that did apply did get that particular endorsement.
Thanks, Councillor Brophy. Councillors, we will now go to the vote. All those in favour? Motion carried, unopposed. Councillors, we now go to page 13 of the agenda, item 10.2, which is Disability Advisory Committee Recruitment 2023. There is a recommendation. Can I please have someone put that forward as a motion? Okay, so I want to move that, please.
Yes, thank you.
Councillor Adam.
I'll move the motion that the council appoint Simon Fox, Community Representative to the Disability Advisory Committee commencing 18th of July 2023 and concluding 30th of June 2025.
Can I have a councillor second that motion? Councillor Latson. Councillor Adam, would you like to speak to the motion?
Very briefly, obviously, Mr Fox, I'm sure his expectations are right up there, and been a panel, which is a disability advisory committee, have gone through a process to appoint Mr Fox, and I am confident that their appraisals of his abilities have been right up to the mark. So I think I was having a discussion with the councillor earlier on about this. This is no aspersions, casting aspersions on Mr Fox at all. Council need to be a little bit more aware of the background and the credentials of these people. I mean, all we're doing today is endorsing it, and I have no doubt whatsoever that as I said, he's definitely up to the mark. But in future, I'd just like some more information regarding these appointments.
Very good, thanks, Councillor Adam. Councillor Latson, would you like to speak to the motion?
Yes, thank you, Mayor Sally. As a councillor representative for the Disability Advisory Committee, I'll be warmly welcoming Mr Fox to the committee. Thank you.
Very good, thanks, Councillor Latson. Are there any councillors that would like to speak against the motion? Any councillors that would like to speak for the motion? Councillor Brophy.
Just very quickly, I'd just like to just point out too that in terms of going out to the community and asking for the recruitment of an additional member, that there were 9 expressions of interest. That is very healthy, and it's obviously a terrific committee to be on, and we're finding that across a number of our committees. So that's a great endorsement of this particular committee.
Thanks, Councillor Brophy. Are there any other councillors that would like to speak to the motion? No? Any closing comments, Councillor Adam?
No, thank you, Mayor Sally.
Now go to the vote. All those in favour? Motion carried, unopposed. Councillors, we now go to page 16 of the agenda, item 11.1, which is contracts awarded under delegation June 2023. There is a recommendation. Councillors, can I have someone put that forward as a motion?
I'll move that the council note that the contracts awarded under delegation pursuant to a formal tender process for the reporting period, and note that the request for tender advertised but not yet awarded.
Thank you, Councillor Dobson. Can I have a councillor second that motion? Councillor James. Councillor Dobson, would you like to speak to the motion?
Yes, we're early in the new financial year, Mayor Sally, and there's only one contract that has been awarded under delegation, and that was for a schedule of rates for a provision of internal audit services. This is done every year. The amount is $316,250, and it's estimate based on a schedule of rates over a 5-year term. The tenders that have been advertised but not yet awarded include the provision of printer lease and maintenance services, provision of party event equipment hire services. That's a panel of suppliers, of course. There's compliant asbestos removal at 90 Welsford Street, Shepparton, a very important one to get. The provision of line marking services, the Queensland fruit fly trapping grid and monitoring, a very important issue for the Golden Valley, and provision of heavy plant and equipment, wet and dry hire services. This is all just as we go along. It's business as usual, and these are services and provisions that the council require.
Very good, thanks, Councillor Dobson. Councillor James, would you like to speak to the motion?
No, just Councillor Dobson's covered that very well in that summary. So thank you.
Thanks, Councillor James. Are there any councillors that would like to speak against the motion? Are there any councillors that would like to speak for the motion? Okay, any closing comments, Councillor Dobson?
No, I haven't.
For councillors, we will now go to the vote. All those in favour? Motion carried, unopposed. Councillors, we now go to page 19 of the agenda, item 11.2, risk management framework. There is a recommendation. Can I please have a councillor put that forward as a motion? Councillor Brophy.
Thank you, Mayor Saleh. I put forward the recommendation that the council, 1, adopt the risk management framework as attached, and 2, revoke the risk management policy which was previously adopted by council on the 19th of November 2019.
Thank you, Councillor Brophy. Can I have a councillor second that motion? Councillor Dobson.
I'll second the motion, Mayor Saleh.
Thank you, Councillor Brophy. Would you like to speak to the motion?
Yes, thank you, Mayor Saleh. This is a newly adopted document replacing the risk management policy from November 2019. It sets out to provide the best practice risk management practices and really helps with the decision making and embedding good risk management culture across council. Can I say that there is a bit of a myth of risk, and I always tend to think when I look at risk, I actually think of risk appetite. For many people, the word risk brings unfortunate connotations of hazard, or danger, or exposure, or peril, but that's not always the case. If you go back to the actual meaning of the word, which is an Italian verb, riscare, meaning to dare. So it can be viewed positively or negatively. Risk is about uncertainty of outcomes and results, desirable or undesirable, but always looking to the future. So I certainly endorse this particular new framework.
Very good, Councillor Brophy. Councillor Dobson, would you like to speak to them?
Very hard to follow that one up, Mayor Saleh, but I'll try. Risk management is a very important framework for local government, and this council prides itself on robust risk management processes, and this framework has been updated to reflect that. So I welcome this.
Very good. Thank you, Councillor Dobson. Are there any other councillors that would like to speak against the motion? Are there any councillors that would like to speak for the motion? Councillor Adam.
Thank you, Mayor Saleh. Again, just quickly, risk management is probably one of the fundamental cornerstones of any entity, especially in local government. And I think with the news that we received today on the state level, I think a really robust risk management policy would have been well utilised in that situation. That being said, anything that tightens up the process and puts all the risk under a more powerful microscope is well sought after. So I'm happy we're doing this.
Thank you, Councillor Adam. Are there any other councillors that would like to speak to the motion? Councillor Abdullah.
Yeah, I just want to highlight that in this framework, we have there's risk appetite also that has been outlined, and I'm very happy to see that this has been explicitly included in the framework, because we need council as an organization need to be very much aware of the risk appetite and our risk appetites for different events. For instance, the risk, basically the risk appetite, it conveys the level of risk that the council is willing to accept to achieve its objectives. And in different events, there can be a different risk appetite. So our risk appetite statement clearly highlights that Greater Shepparton City Council has a controlled appetite for risk, where staff and public safety, compliance with statutory obligations, and community value could be threatened. However, Greater Shepparton City Council has an appetite for higher risk when striving to improve diversity of services and processes where additional community value can be gained. So this statement is very important to consider when we are making decisions, that the risk appetite is obviously very low where it comes to health and safety matters, but in going out for new ventures and creating more maybe other social, economic, and environmental values for the community, the risk appetite is quite high to go for those initiatives. So I just wanted to highlight that the inclusion of risk appetite in this risk management framework is a very important development. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Abdullah. Are there any other councillors that would like to speak to the motion? Okay. Any closing comments, Councillor Brophy?
Just to say that the framework has been put together in line with the ISO risk management guidelines, the Victorian Government risk management framework, and the Victorian Managed Insurance Authority. So it does stack up in terms of all of that.
Very good. Thanks, Councillor Brophy. Councillors, we will now go to the vote. All those in favour? Motion carried unopposed. Councillors, we now go to page 22 of the agenda, item 12.1, our Sporting Future Funding, round 2, 2022/2023. There is a recommendation over 2 pages. Can I have a councillor please move that as a motion? Councillor Dobson.
Thank you, Mayor Sally. I'll move that the council note that successful applicants awarded funding under a delegated authority for round 2 of the 2022/2023 Our Sporting Future Funding Program as follows. I won't read them out, but we will highlight them through the discussions. Thank you, Mayor Sally.
Yeah, that's okay. We don't need to know that that's over the 2 pages, or? Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, that's
all right.
Yeah, that'll be fine. Councillor Dobson, thank you for that. Can I have a councillor second that motion? Councillor Brophy.
I second that motion, Ms. Allen.
Thank you, Councillor Dobson. Would you like to speak to the motion?
Yeah, interesting. Just to extrapolate that out a bit, the Shepparton East Football Netball Club, for example, $30,000 for a new scoreboard upgrade was terrific. They're a great community club out there and well worthy. We go over to the Tatura Football Netball Club, and of course with Gunnar Ryan in charge of Tatura, there had to be some money spent over there. Golden Valley Hockey Association, they needed a new scoreboard. This one in particular, Mayor Sally, Shepparton Sailability, upgrading of the yachting fleet. I've taken a particular interest in this one over the years, and they've done a fantastic job. They really run it on their own with help from council, but this is an organisation that helps people with disabilities get out and enjoy the freedom of sailing out in Victoria Lake, and it's a great visual statement as well as a great community statement. The Tatura Lawn Tennis Club, again over there, they're putting together a strategic plan, so we've awarded them $5,000 as well as the Greater Shepparton Basketball Association, and let's hope we can get somewhere with them. They've got $5,000 awarded, and the Shepparton United Soccer Club also. The Shepparton Swimming Club, and that's getting back into gear once the floods have gone away, and the Gromevale Sports Club, confidence in umpiring at Gromevale, and I was very impressed to see that project was confidence in umpiring at Gromevale. Total of $61,897, and that's the Greater Shepparton City Council's contribution to our local sporting fund, and may well it continue in the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Dobson. Councillor Brophy, would you like to speak to the motion?
Yes, well summed up by Councillor Dobson. I know that the next agenda item follows on from this as well. It's round 2 and round 3, but firstly, this is a well-subscribed funding program. So many clubs and communities have taken the opportunity to apply. Football, netball clubs, soccer clubs, tennis clubs, hockey, basketball, swimming, field and game. And I love seeing, as Councillor Dobson pointed out, funding awarded to Shepparton Sailability to upgrade their yachting fleet. All money well spent across the board there. More so, I'm absolutely delighted to see that this funding program, a bit reduced, added back into this year's budget. Good sporting opportunities make for a healthier community. Greater participation extends to better mental health and outcomes for individuals and groups across Greater Shepparton.
Councillor Brophy, are there any councillors that would like to speak against the motion? Are there any councillors that would like to speak for the motion? Councillor.
Yes, thank you, Mayor Sally. The other councillors have covered some of the other projects, which they're all valid and they're all this money. I just want to note that the Shepparton East Football Club, Netball Club, it's one of the largest council contributions of $30,000, largest without doubt. I just want to draw your attention to the fact that the club itself, organisational cash of $46,000, that's the only one amongst all the projects that is actually in excess of what council contributed. So congratulations to that organisation and the effort they went to just by more than 50%, well more, but about 62% roughly of that project. It's a large project, and if you look at all the benefits projected, you'll find there's so many different clubs and different categories within those clubs that make use of that facility out there, not to mention all the other co-tenants. So all the others are fantastically valid as well. I just want to draw attention to the efforts of that club and what they've done.
Thank you, Councillor Adam. Are there any other councillors that would like to speak to the motion? Councillor Abdullah.
Thank you. I would like to again highlight that point that stands out for me is that in this item and also in the next item also sporting grounds round 2 and round 3, what I notice is that there have not been many applications under the category of women and girls, and as we know that this funding program provides 5 categories for funding, which includes major facility development, minor facility development, sports aid, women and girls, and junior and youth participation. So I was again a bit disappointed that not many applications came under the category of women and girls. There was only one application in round 3, and in round 2, in round 2, there is only one application. And in our next agenda item for round 3, I noticed that there was one application, but that was not eligible. So the funding was not allocated. So overall, my assessment is that more work needs to be done in order to promote these grants to the groups who are working towards promotion of this promotion of women and girls participation in sports, because surely there is a big need, and I'm sure there's an appetite also to increase opportunities for women and girls in sports. So why is it that these grants are not really we are not hearing from those groups? So that's the point that I wanted to make, and I hope that in future applications we do receive more and more of applications under the category of women and girls, in addition to other categories, because all sports is important, but I strongly believe that the opportunities have been were not as many as we have seen for men. So now that the opportunity is there, I think we need to do a bit of promotion so that these groups can take up these opportunities and apply for sporting grants for women and girls. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Abdullah. Are there any other councillors that would like to speak to the motion? Councillor James.
Thank you, Mayor Sully. Yeah, look, Goulburn Valley has, over many years, it's a great region, and we have produced many successful sports people across many sports within this region. I would urge councils to continue to offer financial assistance to our community groups, because we have produced some great champions from this area, and we are recognised right across this great state of ours of our contribution towards sport itself and in general. So I again would just continue to urge council to support all groups financially for what we do.
Right.
Thank you, Mayor.
Councillor James, no worries. Are there any other councillors that would like to speak to the motion? No. Any closing comments, Councillor Dobson?
No, it's all been covered. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you very much, councillors. We will now go to the vote. All those in favour? Motion carried and opposed. Councillors, we now go to page 33 of the agenda, item 12.2, our sporting future funding, round 3, 2022/2023. There is a recommendation. Can I please have someone put that forward as a motion? Can someone move that, please?
I'll move.
Councillor Adams.
Motion, Mayor Sally, on page something or other. I think it's page 35, am I correct? No?
33.
33, there you go. That the council note the successful applicants awarded funding under delegated authority for round 3 of the 2022/2023 Our Sporting Future Funding Program as follows. And actually we'll read them out, there's not that many there. Our Sporting Future Majors Club is Shepparton Field and Game, sporting equipment, $15,000. Kyla Park Old Students Tennis Club, courts 1 and 2 Make Safe project, that's also to the tune of $30,000 for a total of $45,000.
Very good, thank you, Adam. Can I have a councillor second that motion? Councillor Dobson. Would you like?
No, I second that.
Yep. Councillor Adam, would you like to speak to the motion?
Again, very briefly, 2 recipients here, both worthy, and I've noted that both clubs have actually quite a lot of the actual funding. That shows that they're passionate and they're committed to their clubs. The field and game, I may be speaking out of school here, but I'm pretty sure they're hoping that they could probably host some sort of a national competition in the future, and I'm sure this funding will help them achieve that. It's something we can probably discuss in the future of what this council can do to actually get that type of event hosted.
Very good, thank you, Councillor Adam. Councillor Dobson, would you like to speak to the motion?
Thank you, Mayor. So I think it's time that we backed up Councillor Abdullah's comments in the last item about women and girls, although some of these items would be for both the male and female participants. For example, the tennis club here, $30,000. But one application from this round of funding from Women and Girls wasn't, it was minimal, and so I agree that perhaps some more advertising in this section may be necessary. But well done to those people who put in the applications, and I think we should be letting the whole of the community know that these are available. People say, "Oh, what does the council do for their rates?" This is one thing we do very well. So I'd like if the press can get a hold of this and make something of it, I'd be very happy. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you, Councillor Dobson. Are there any councillors that would like to speak against the motion? Any councillors that would like to speak for the motion? Councillor Latson.
Thank you, Mayor Sarley. I'd like to point out that with Kyle Park Old Students Tennis Club, they have 2 female members have completed their community tennis coaching certificates to encourage and provide a setting for other females of any ethnicity to engage with the club. Thank you, Mayor Sarley.
Thank you, Councillor Latson. Are there any other councillors that would like to speak to the motion? No? Any closing comments, Councillor Adam?
Thank you, Mayor Sarley.
Good. Councillors, we will now go to the vote. All those in favour? Motion carried, unopposed. Councillors, we now go to page 39 of the agenda, item 13, documents for signing and sealing. Nil received. Item 14, confidential management reports. Nil received. Councillors, if we turn over to page 40 of the agenda, item 15.1.1, councillor activities for June 2023. There is a recommendation. Can I please have a councillor put that forward as a motion? Councillor Brophy.
Thank you, Mayor Sarley. Put forward the recommendation that the council receive and note the summary of the councillors' community interactions and informal meetings of councillors.
Thank you, Councillor Brophy. Can I have a councillor second that motion? Councillor Latson. Councillor Brophy, would you like to speak to the motion?
Thank you, Mayor Sarley. Yes, I do. When I looked through the month of June, 3 things really stood out: leadership, education and the development of youth, with a number of these things come on board. Yes, there was a meeting regarding the Shepparton Education Plan, but also I attended the La Trobe University Make the Difference campaign celebration with the Honourable John Brumby. Who was there also was Roger Gillespie and his wife there on behalf of La Trobe University, where their philanthropic activities has been incredible for La Trobe here locally, and it's been a real pathway for Greater Shepparton Secondary College students into tertiary level. So the money that they've put towards that is actually formulating bursaries for those students to go straight into tertiary and at a local level there. So that's really quite incredible as well as attending the Indy Shepparton School, the official opening there. So education is very much at the forefront of activities that are happening here locally. In regards to leadership, the Golden Murray Community Leadership Board Ready program, that was launched as well. I was there with Councillor Abdullah, and that was sensational. That is actually mentoring those coming on boards and committees, and certainly from a gender perspective too, that is really just an empowering particular program that participants from the Fairley Leadership program from last year have actually put that together. So that's absolutely fantastic. That there as well as the Fairley Youth Leadership Program graduation. 8 young students who have come through that particular program, and to see them there stand up and to be presented in front of an audience, to be able to speak with public speaking gifted, that is just sensational from where they'd come from in that short program that's been there as well, into the development youth. But also, the changeover of both the Shepparton Rotary Club, and if I look at the Shepparton Lions Club, those changeover dinners, to see the leadership formation there within those clubs. And of course, the last one which I attended, I'm now an honorary Lion, I think, for life. So there you go. So great activities in June, and really summing up leadership, education and the development of our youth.
Very good. Thank you, Councillor Brophy. Councillor Latson, would you like to speak to the motion?
Thank you, Mayor Sarley. I think Councillor Brophy has covered it all.
Very good. Thank you, Councillor Latson. Are there any councillors that would like to speak against the motion? Any councillors that would like to speak for the motion? Councillor Adam.
Yes, thank you, Mayor Sarley. I just want to bring attention to the community that these activities is probably one of the best opportunities for councillors to actually keep in touch with the community. It's many and varied, as Councillor Brophy referred to, so many different aspects of different activities within our community. And I know myself, just going to the Shepparton Food Chair, make a meal of June, that night there, I think I learnt more in 30 minutes just from the guest speaker and people on my table. And you get in touch with what's really going on. You know these organisations exist, you know they're doing great work, but until you get there with the people and hear the anecdotal stories about what they do, that's when you really grasp what's happening out there. And I think it's a great thing that councils get involved with, and I encourage councillors to attend as many as possible.
Thank you, Councillor Adam. Other councillors that would like to speak to the motion? Any closing comments, Councillor Brophy?
No, thank you.
Very good, councillors. We will now go to the vote. All those in favour? Motion carried, unopposed. Councillors, we now go to the last page, 42 of the agenda. Item 16, notice of motion, amendment or rescission, nil received. Item 17, urgent business not included on the agenda, nil received. And item 18, close of meeting, which I will do now at 3:30 p.m. Very good. Thanks, guys.